look, I can come right out of the gates and give you very concrete value in saying that your real USMLE score is going to be most similar to your NBMEs. Okay, you need to recognize, as I've discussed lots in my prior content, that the NBME questions are exactly the same as your USMLE. Okay, when you go into the USMLE, it'll be a hypothetical NBME 31, 32. The repeats are all over the place. You do forms 1 through 19, the repeats are going to show up on 20 through 30, and then the repeats are going to show up from 20 through 30 on the real deal. Okay, when I took the step 1 back in 2012, my anatomy questions from my exam, okay, a decade ago, for whatever fucking reason, are the same anatomy questions on NBME 24, which is now offline. I'm just like, okay, that's random, but that just illustrates as one mere example as to how the repeats are all over the place. So if you, let's say, get 222, 224 on NBMEs 26 and 27, and then you get a 239 on UWorld Self-Assessment Exam 1, we can take your UWSA score into strong consideration and say the UWorld Self-Assessment exams happen to be coincidentally accurate predictors. They are, because students sit them frequently right before their real deal. But remember, the real USMLE is not the UWorld Self-Assessment exams, okay? The real USMLE is the NBMEs. So if we have to choose one or the other, it's the NBME exams that are more predictive of your score. They're more accurate. It's not a debate. The NBMEs are the USMLE. And as I've said repeatedly, when you sit the exam, it will be the exact same thing as doing an NBME 31, 32. Students get very emotional about this. I understand, okay? People invest very heavily into UWorld and the value of the UWorld self-assessment exams. I understand, okay? But just, although the UWorld self-assessment exams can indeed often function as good predictors of score, because students usually sit them right prior to their USMLE, so percentile-wise, they will tend to align. Just recognize that the actual questions from the UWorld self-assessments are not the ones on the real deal. Okay, it's the NBME questions. So if we have to choose, it's going to be the NBMEs that are more predictive. Now, why might there be a discrepancy in score? I guess I still haven't addressed that fucking question. It's sometimes due to overthinking things. If you, let's say, do poorly on the NBMEs, but you've done really well on the UWorld self-assessment exams, it can often reflect the fact that you've invested so heavily into UWorld and you've calibrated mentally to doing the UWorld question style that you are not in tune to properly answering NBME questions. Every QBank is going to be different, the same way the NBMEs are different. If you do the USMLE RX questions, you're going to calibrate mentally a certain way. You do the AMBOSS questions, you're going to calibrate mentally a certain way. Well, the same thing is for UWorld and then the NBMEs. So if you want to avoid overthinking dumb shit on your NBME exams, you need to invest heavily into memorizing those forms before your real deal, as I've talked about, okay? So that explains if you go down on the NBMEs versus your UWorld self-assessment exams. If your UWorld self-assessment exam your exams are lower compared to your NBMEs, that's good news, because as I said, the real USMLE is the NBME exams, and the UWorld self-assessment exams can sometimes reflect you have gaps in knowledge base that need to be addressed. But it's good news if you actually go up on the NBMEs compared to the UWorld self-assessment exams. Okay, a lot we can talk about. I can make this a 39-minute clip, but I'll keep things more concise here. So you know the deal. I'm going to continue making more content. If you like my stuff, subscribe to my channel. And I appreciate your time. That's it.